All right, let's talk about The Matrix. But I want you to forget the bullet time for a second, forget the awesome kung fu. We're going way, way deeper than that. We're here to talk about philosophy.
So what if I told you that this movie, the one you probably watched when you were 14, Keanu Reeves dodging bullets in slow-mo, what if I told you it's one of the most incredible introductions to 2,500 years of philosophy ever made? Seriously, stick with me, because by the end of this, you are never going to look at a black leather trench coat, or maybe even your own reality, the same way again.
Okay, so for anyone who's been living under a rock, let's do a quick recap. We're talking about The Matrix, from 1999, directed by the incredible Wachowskis. The plot's pretty simple on the surface, right? A hacker, Neo, finds out his entire life is just a computer simulation. A prison, really, run by some seriously smart machines. And, surprise, he might just be the one who can save everybody. But, and this is the key, under all that action movie goodness, there's a conversation that has been going on for literally thousands of years.
So where do we even begin? Well, we've got to go all the way back. I'm talking over 2,000 years ago to ancient Greece. Because here's the thing, the big, mind-blowing idea behind The Matrix, it's not new, not even close. It's a story we've been telling ourselves forever.
Get this, the entire movie is basically a high-tech, leather-clad version of Plato's most famous idea, the allegory of the cave. So picture this, you've got these prisoners, right? Chained up in a cave their entire lives. All they can see are shadows dancing on a wall in front of them. For them, those shadows aren't just shadows. No, that is reality. That's all they've ever known.
And when you put them side by side, it's just, wow, it's so direct. Those prisoners chained in the cave, that's us. Or, well, the humans in those gooey pods. And the shadows they think are real, that's the Matrix, the simulation. The super bright, painful sun outside the cave represents the actual real world that Morpheus shows Neo. And you guessed it, the one guy who gets free, sees the truth, and goes back to help everyone else? That's Neo. It is a perfect one-to-one mapping. I'm telling you, Plato would have been a huge fan.
And this is the absolute core of it all. That famous choice Morpheus gives Neo, it's not just some cool movie moment. It is the choice from Plato's Cave. Taking the red pill, that's deciding to step out of the cave and face the truth, no matter how harsh it is. And the blue pill, well, that's choosing to stay right where you are, comfortable with the shadows you know.
Okay, so this whole what is real thing didn't just stop with Plato. Let's jump forward in time, like 2,000 years to the 1600s. You've got this philosopher, René Descartes, and he asks himself this absolutely terrifying question. He's like, how do I know for sure that I'm not being tricked? What if some evil genius, some powerful demon is feeding me all of this entire reality? I mean, come on, The Matrix is just that evil demon, but, with way cooler special effects.
But here's the cool part. Descartes figured it out. He realized he could doubt pretty much everything. His eyes, his hands, the chair he was sitting on, all of it could be a trick. But the one thing he couldn't doubt was that he was doubting. The very act of thinking proved he existed. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Your consciousness is the one thing you can be sure of, and that is the exact moment Neo has when he wakes up in that pod. Everything he knew is gone. His body's just a power source, his world was a complete lie, but his mind, his awareness, that just proved itself to be real.
But the philosophy tour doesn't stop there. Oh no. We're now jumping into much more modern times, to a philosopher so important to this movie that they literally put his book right there on screen for you to see. We're talking about Jean Baudrillard and his concept of the desert of the real, a place where the copy has completely replaced the original.
So, Baudrillard's big idea is something called a simulacrum. Now that's a fancy word, but what does it mean? It's not just a copy. It's a copy of something that doesn't have an original anymore, or maybe never did. He basically said we're living in a hyperreality, just drowning in symbols and simulations that feel more real than the real thing. Sound familiar? I mean, that's a perfect textbook definition of what the Matrix is.
And this is where it gets crazy. The filmmakers weren't being subtle about it at all. When Morpheus shows Neo the destroyed real world for the first time, what does he say? Welcome to the desert of the real. That line is ripped directly from Baudrillard's book, Simulacra and Simulation. And get this, that's the exact same book Neo hollows out to hide his stuff in at the beginning of the movie. The Wachowskis weren't just nodding to Baudrillard, they were basically screaming his name from the rooftops.
Okay, so if reality is a simulation, what does that do to the idea of choice? I mean, are any of our choices actually our own? Are we really free? The movie just dives right into this massive philosophical problem, the whole free will debate, and it does it through the incredible character of the Oracle.
This is one of the biggest, oldest arguments in all of philosophy, right? Free will versus determinism. Are we actually in the driver's seat, making our own choices, or is everything already decided and our feeling of choice is just an illusion? Are we writing our own stories, or are we just puppets on a string?
The Oracle just messes with Neo's head completely. Remember that scene? She tells him not to worry about the vase, and in the process of turning around to ask what vase, he knocks it over. It's brilliant. And her line, "You've already made the choice. Now you have to understand why you made it." That's the whole debate in a nutshell. It's suggesting that maybe, just maybe, our choices and a system that knows what we'll choose aren't mutually exclusive.
So what's the movie's answer to this giant puzzle? It's awesome. It basically says that, yeah, you might be in a system that knows what you're going to do, but the second you become truly aware of that system, you get the power to change the game. Your consciousness becomes the ultimate hack. It lets you break the chain of cause and effect. So freedom isn't about having no rules. It's about knowing what the rules are so you can break them.
And we're not just talking about academic philosophy here. The Matrix goes even deeper, tapping into some really old spiritual and mythological ideas. It's basically a modern-day myth about saviors, control, and finding meaning, with roots in traditions that, honestly, most people probably miss when they watch it. When you really break it down, the story is a perfect Gnostic parable. So, the ancient Gnostics, they believed our physical world wasn't the real deal. They thought it was a kind of prison for our souls made by a fake, flawed god they called the demiurge. In the Matrix, who is that? It's the machines. It's the architect, this cold, logical, false god. And humanity? We're the divine sparks, the souls trapped inside this fake world. The red pill isn't just a drug. It represents gnosis, which is the secret, forbidden knowledge that wakes you up. And Neo, of course, is the savior figure who brings that knowledge to the people.
And for the final boss level of philosophy in this movie, we have to look east. The film is soaked in ideas from Buddhism, especially the concept of Maya. And Maya is the idea that this world we see and touch and feel, it's not the real, solid thing we think it is. It's actually a very, very convincing illusion.
You know that amazing scene with the kid, the spoon boy? That is pure Zen Buddhism right there. His advice, there is no spoon, isn't about telekinesis or magic tricks. It's a deep philosophical point. The truth isn't that you can bend the spoon with your mind. The truth is, the spoon doesn't exist on its own. Its spoonness is created by your mind. So if you want to change the spoon, you don't focus on the spoon, you have to change yourself and how you see it. The world outside is just a mirror of what's inside.
And that brings us to Neo's big moment, his ultimate power-up. When he stops those bullets at the end, he's not just moving super fast. He hasn't become a superhero who breaks the laws of physics. No, he's had a breakthrough. He's realized that the laws of physics, the bullets, his own body, all of it is part of the dream, part of the illusion. He has literally reached enlightenment. It's a complete spiritual awakening, all wrapped up in the coolest special effect of all time.
So, we've pulled on threads from ancient Greece, from Descartes, from postmodern French guys, from Gnosticism, from Buddhism, and after all that, the movie brings this massive 2,500-year-old conversation right back down to one single powerful choice. And it doesn't just ask Neo, it asks you.
Because The Matrix isn't just a sci-fi flick. It's one of the oldest questions we've ever asked, just repackaged with awesome fight scenes and cool sunglasses. And the question is this: what if everything you've been told, everything you believe, what if your entire reality is just a big, comfortable lie designed to keep you in your place?
And that's the real gut punch of the movie, right? It's telling us that real, world-changing revolution doesn't start with guns and bombs. It starts inside your head. It starts with a shift in how you see things. It starts the moment one single person decides they're done believing the lie, done accepting the shadows on the wall as reality. That one person is the one who realizes there is no spoon. That's the person who can stop bullets. That's the person who becomes the one. So the final question the movie leaves us with, it's not for Neo, it's for all of us. Is today the day that you finally decide to see just how deep the rabbit hole goes? Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more fascinating videos from Plato Baggins. Please leave your thoughts and comments for further discussion. Have a great day.